welcome. Today we're here at SeaWorld San Diego.
There's so much to see here, everything from animal exhibits to rides, restaurants, shows, gift shops. Today we'll try to see it all. And for each location, we'll talk about what you can do there today, the secrets about the history of the park, news about future developments, the must-try experiences, and everything you need to know before visiting SeaWorld San Diego. If you're planning a trip here soon or just like to learn more about the park, this will be a good video for you. All right, let's get started. Right next to the Sky Tower is one of my favorite places to visit. Dolphin Point was built in 1973, 9 years after SeaWorld opened. The park was expanded and the area where it was built was once part of the original parking lot. Since the park opened, dolphins have lived in many different places around the park. At first, they lived at Dolphin Lagoon. They also performed in some underwater shows. Today, you can see them at the Dolphin Adventure Stadium during one of the shows or at Dolphin Point. You can pay for one of the up-close dolphin experiences, but if not, I'd recommend visiting while they're eating. This is when their personality really shines. They're very intelligent and social with a great sense of humor. We'll talk more about dolphins soon.
Here we are at the Orca underwater viewing area.
If this is your first time at the park, this is a must-see exhibit. These orcas are incredibly majestic and beautiful, but also powerful apex predators. They're social and intelligent. They communicate and collaborate with each other when they're hunting in packs. Orcas hunt everything from fish to seals, sharks, and even other whales. It's incredible being able to stand just feet away from these orcas. Just upstairs is the Dine with Orcas experience. Next door, you can see the Orca Encounter show. This 7 million gallon tank was built in 1987. In 2006, SeaWorld became popular for their Believe show, which showcased trainers and killer whales performing acrobatic feats together. Today, the show focuses more on educational themes. The Orca Encounter is a 25-minute educational show that explores the nature of orcas. The show explains how these apex predators use problem-solving and communication to work together when hunting. In 2014, SeaWorld's Blue World project announced a plan to double the size of the orca habitat. It needed approval from the California Coastal Commission. As it was approved, there was a condition that they stop breeding or transferring orcas. In 2016, SeaWorld announced that they'll no longer capture or breed killer whales, and the park's future would shift away from animal shows towards more traditional amusement park attractions with a nautical theme. The plan would have expanded the orca tanks to cover all of this area you see right here. It's hard to predict what will happen, but maybe this will become another attraction one day. In 1994, this area of the park was built for a motion simulator ride called Mission Bermuda Triangle. In 1997, it was converted to the Wild Arctic ride. The Wild Arctic ride simulates traveling to the base station Wild Arctic, and visitors exited the ride into the base station, which was home to a variety of animals found in the Arctic. This enclosure was originally a polar bear exhibit. Today you'll find these sea otters, who are known for having the world's most dense fur coat. Heading down the path, there's an ice wall here that you can touch, and this leads down to the walrus exhibit. These pinnipeds weigh up to 2 tons, and they have a thick layer of blubber that keeps them warm in the cold Arctic weather. They use their tusks as a dominance display, but also to get out of the water. And if you head downstairs, there's an underwater viewing area where you can look at the beluga whales up close. These beluga whales are related to narwhals, and they can be recognized by the white color and the absence of a dorsal fin. There's a beluga whale experience here that you can pay for to meet and feed the beluga whales. The Wild Arctic is currently being upgraded to accommodate a new roller coaster called Arctic Rescue. The Arctic Rescue is a family-friendly snowmobile-themed ride. As a triple jump coaster, riders are launched to full speed at least 3 times along this track, reaching heights of 30 feet at 40 miles per hour. Arctic Rescue is scheduled to open in the spring of 2023. Most people don't know this, but the Dolphin Adventure Stadium was originally built for Shamu in 1971. The original orcas here in San Diego lived and performed at this stadium for 16 years. In 1987, they moved to the current Orca Encounter tank. Dolphins who were then performing at Dolphin Lagoon were then moved to this new home. Ever since, this is where the dolphins and pilot whales perform and live together. During the Dolphin Adventure Show, trainers introduce a pod of dolphins, and they perform maneuvers that show their intelligence, agility, and social behaviors. You'll learn how the dolphin species, including the pilot whales, are very clever and social animals. These whales and dolphins are incredibly intelligent, empathetic, and they pass information on from one generation to the next. It's important that we all take steps to help protect these animals and their environment. If you're interested in helping whales or dolphins, one thing you can do is to either volunteer for a local beach cleanup or donate to a cause that supports cleaning up the oceans.
Celebrate life and each other.
You might be familiar with the Sesame Street Bay of Play, but you may not know that it has a very interesting history. The late 70s was a Renaissance era for the park. The book publisher HBJ purchased and then invested into the expansion of the park. This included new stadiums, animal exhibits, play areas, and new characters. Notably was a ship captain and his crew of sea animal sidekicks. Captain's Kids World opened in 1977. It was an immediate success. Families loved the adventurous play area. Years later, it was renamed Shamu's Happy Harbor. And when SeaWorld was granted the rights to use the Sesame Street characters, this area became the attraction that we know today as the Sesame Street Bay of Play. The rides here include Abby's Sea Star Spin, Elmo's Flying Fish, and Oscar's Rocking Eel. You can meet the Sesame Street characters here. There's a net climb area and a splash pad, an air bounce area, and padded play space for toddlers. All around are carnival-style games where you can play for a chance to win prizes, and there's an arcade where you can buy tokens to play games for tickets to exchange for prizes and merchandise. Just next door is the Explorer's Garden. This area has a fascinating history. It was part of an expansion that took place during the early 80s. SeaWorld's owner, the publishing company HBJ, wanted to focus on education. During that era, there was a map of the United States on the ground hundreds of feet long, with fountains representing the Great Lakes. There was a children's bookstore, a large chessboard, and a circle of flags. During the 2000s, Anheuser-Busch built a hospitality center, Brewmasters Club, and a Clydesdale exhibit here. In 2016, plans were revealed to open a new area here called Ocean Explorer Deep Sea Discovery. During that time, they created the new rides Tentacle Twirl, Aqua Scout, Octorock, and the Sea Dragon Drop, all of which you could still find here today. But there was another ride called Submarine Quest. It was a submarine-themed ride that followed an elevated track around what is now the Explorer's Garden. There was a large marketing effort to promote this new ride and a lot of hype and expectation. But due to possible budget issues or executional problems, the ride opened to critical and unfavorable reviews. Submarine Quest was in operation for about a year before unexpectedly closing. Around the same time in 2018, the Electric Eel roller coaster opened. Submarine Quest was dismantled and eventually became the Explorer's Garden. You can still see decorations from the Submarine Quest ride there today. The Electric Eel is now the flagship coaster of this part of the park, and it's received great reviews and ratings. And not far from the Electric Eel are the Journey to Atlantis ride and the new dive coaster here at SeaWorld called Emperor.
Now we're here at Sea Lion Point. Let's check it out.
Sea Lion Point is one of the oldest areas in the park. It was built during an expansion of the original SeaWorld park in the late 60s. You can buy fish here to share with the sea lions, but keep an eye out for the birds and seagulls looking to snatch a free meal. The original show featured both penguins and seals. Throughout the years, the arena has been decorated in many themes and styles. But the one commonality between all the shows is that the shows demonstrate the sea lions and otters' ability to learn complex skills. Sea lions are incredible animals. They eat squid and fish, and they can dive up to 250 feet to catch their food. Their bullet-shaped bodies help them descend through the water quickly, and they can control their heartbeat to conserve energy, from 70 beats per minute at the surface to just 5 beats per minute on deep dives. It's thought that sea lions evolved from a small, raccoon-like creature called a Mustelidae. Others believe they evolved from bears, and others like to call them sea dogs. Sea lions have a great understanding of organization and symmetry. and they can be taught routines using hand gestures similar to sign language. Heading back toward the orca encounter, we find the underwater cantina and the whale shop. This area by the orca encounter used to be the original gift shop, making this the original entrance. This entire area was redeveloped to expand the park in preparation for the new Shamu habitat. The original Polynesian-themed entrance was pretty iconic. Today, in its place, you'll find the Shipwreck Reef Cafe. And where Shipwreck Rapids stands today used to be a grassy lawn area right next to the original gift shop. Looking at original photos from when SeaWorld first opened, you can see this circular seating area. In 1998, they remodeled this entire area to create room for the Rapids ride, also removing the Theater of the Sea. Today, this is a large themed dining space for the Shipwreck Reef Cafe. It's also a private event space that you can rent for your own events. The original Theater of the Sea was an underwater theater. The main attraction was a 3-part show where dolphins and mermaids interacted. This used to be a focal point of the park, and a lot has changed since then, but this is still a great place to stop and see the sea turtles.
So just right behind me is the entrance to the original sea grotto.
Continuing towards the tide pools, this area here used to be home to the Sea Grotto, the World of the Sea, and Aquaria. This attraction is no longer open, but for many years this was the home of various underwater shows where divers swam along with the fish. And for years it was an aquarium with a variety of sea life. The Sea Grotto was an indoor venue with a 40-foot-long tank, home to a variety of fish. A diver would swim in the tank, describing the fish and their habitats. Today, the area is home to tide pools with sea stars and urchins, and presenters sharing information about sea life. Just next door is the Bayside Amphitheater, the original home to Dolphin Lagoon. This right here is the original seating area. It was later on upgraded, expanded, and a second level was built. There was a tiki hut on the island, and it was here that they had the first dolphin shows here at SeaWorld. In the background, you can see the area where the Hawaiian Punch Village used to be. This entire bay used to be gated off because it was the original home for the dolphins here at SeaWorld and the first dolphin show. On the other side of the island, there was a hydrofoil docked that would take visitors on high-speed tours around Mission Bay, and for a time they even had choreographed water ski shows. During the summer, this is the location to the Bayside Summer Concert Series. You can still see the stage here. Hopefully they'll have more shows coming up soon. There used to be a bridge here that connected to the island, allowing visitors to walk over to the hydrofoil launching point. And right here was also the original Shamu exhibit. Standing in this place, you'd be right in the middle of the first Shamu stadium. It wasn't a very big stadium, but that was the first version they had. A few years later, they updated the tank and moved Shamu to what is now the Dolphin Adventure Stadium. To find this place yourself, just go to the Surf's Up arcade and then turn right around. It'll be right there. At this part of the park, you'll find a nice grass area by the water. In the past, these were the front gates to the Hawaiian Punch Village. And just beyond the gates, you would have seen a tiki hut and a large A-framed building. I couldn't find why this building was removed, so if you know, let us know in the comments. Today, there's a nice grass area here right by the water with a refreshment stand. This is where the original A-frame structure was, and you can still see the palm trees here today. There were even alligators here at the time. And you can still see the original foundation right here. Now let's take a trip on the Bayside Skyride. From above, you can see the marina and the parking area for the employees. And if you look at this structure here by the turnaround point, that was the Atlantis restaurant. Passing by, I talked to one of the attendants and they said the building hasn't been used for many years. But for a time, this was a very popular restaurant. Passing back in this direction, you can see Mission Bay, which used to be a marshland. It was developed into a race course for H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing. I have another video about this, I'll put it in the description. But it was incredible seeing these boats traveling at nearly 200 miles an hour across the open water. On the way back, you get a very good view of the Bayfront Amphitheater. You can see this island from the backside, which used to connect to the mainland. By those trees would have been the first Shamu tank, and you can see the foundation here for the Hawaiian Village. Exiting the Sky Ride, this building right here would have been the Sparklets Water Show. Inside was a pool with multiple color-lit fountains surrounded by seating. Today it's known as the Mission Bay Amphitheater, where they host many different shows throughout the year.
Here we are now at the original Japanese village.
Next door are the flamingos, and in the past there was a great photo opportunity here by the SeaWorld sign. In 2011, this whole area was redesigned to accommodate the new Manta roller coaster. Today you'll still see this bridge here, which leads to the entrance of the Japanese village. This village was known for its beautiful architecture, gardens, and its pearl diving show. Right here you can see the same pool that they used for the diving show. Today this pool is called the Bat Ray Shallows, home to guitarfish and bat rays. Here near the entrance to the roller coaster is where the original Japanese-style building stood. You can still see this original structure here, which is now a gift shop today. And although slightly different, this railing is still in the same place as it was in the original Japanese village. If you take a walk around this area today, you'll still see the Japanese influence in the architecture and gardening. This is a nice part of the park today where you can feed the rays or ride the Manta roller coaster. There's even an underwater viewpoint that you can visit just by walking down these stairs that most people don't know about. I made another video specifically with the top tips to plan your next trip to SeaWorld. If you'd like to see that, I'll put the link in the description below. But this is definitely one of those lesser known places that you should visit while you're here. Another thing you might notice when you're here at the Manta ride is this gate, which closely resembles the original gate for the Japanese village. And standing where it was when SeaWorld first opened is this Japanese bell tower. In 1976, the textbook publisher HBJ purchased the park and began investing in the park's expansion. During this time, there were many improvements made, including the building of the shark encounter and the penguin encounter. SeaWorld actually had a great white shark here for about 10 days, but it was released back into the wild. During the early 90s, the shark encounter was renovated to include this 57-foot underwater viewing tunnel. This is one of the world's largest viewing tunnels. As you enter, you'll see a shallow coral reef environment. This exhibit features a 280,000-gallon pool themed with rocks and tropical plants with coral. And this is home to a variety of sharks, including sand tigers, bonnet heads, blacktip, and white-tip reef sharks. As you walk down the trail, you're led underground into the tunnel where you can see the sharks all around you above. This is one of the most impressive and picturesque places in the park, and you'll very likely see people taking videos and lots of pictures here. At the end of the tunnel, you'll see the jaws of the long-extinct Megalodon, which was a 60-foot-long prehistoric shark that weighed up to 30 tons. Right next to the shark encounter is an exhibit called Turtle Reef. In the mid-2000s, this area was first designated to house a group of rescued manatees. Since first opening in 1964, SeaWorld Rescue has helped to save over 44,000 sick or injured sea animals. Turtle Reef used to be home to a group of manatees, and they lived here for a number of years during the late 2000s. In 2010, the manatees were moved to a new home in Florida, and the manatee rescue exhibit closed. The exhibit was later redesigned to accommodate these sea turtles. Turtle Reef is a 300,000-gallon aquarium with adult hawksbill and green sea turtles. You can visit throughout the day to see one of the fish and turtle feedings, or stop by during one of the educational trainer talks. This space is also used for special events, and near the exit of the exhibit are educational games that help players understand the importance of sea turtle conservation and the relationship between humans and ocean animals. The Penguin Encounter was built in the late 70s. It was one of a few projects that were part of a larger expansion plan. In the early days, visitors could see penguins at an outdoor penguin playground, and they were even part of the Sea Lion show. Today, there are two parts to the Penguin Encounter. There's an outside area where you can watch them during their feeding time. They also dart around in the waters right in front of you. During the day, there is an aviculturist talk inside the Penguin Encounter where animal experts share facts about different penguin species and how they interact and care for them. When you enter the Penguin Encounter building, you'll see Emperor, King, and Magellanic penguins. As you walk in, you'll notice the cool environment, and then stepping onto the moving walkway, you'll find a large enclosure home to over 400 penguins. Emperor penguins can dive as deep as 300 feet to pursue their prey. Their distinct black and white color makes them difficult to see in the water. Penguins are known to be a monogamous species, and some males will incubate the eggs while the females hunt for food. And just next door are the puffins. And these puffins live on coastal cliffs and offshore islands. They find fish and plankton by diving into the waters, and their short little wings allow them to swim underwater and even fly low over the ocean's surface. What's your favorite memory at SeaWorld? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a like and share it with someone who might enjoy it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And to see our top tips for your next trip to SeaWorld, click right here.